Good afternoon, everybody. Hope you've had a good day. Um, Kirk's straw fell through, so Betty and I decided to play a new game with Simon and Ella, who I've been playing with for my solo chat GPT sessions here lately. Um, we're starting at level 4, and we're using chat GPT5 for this DM experience. So here we go.
Um, hold on a second.
Okay.
Where's my level at?
It's if you in the upper left corner where your avatar picture is,
Okay.
should be level 4, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let me. This is Celtic music world, relaxing music, medieval fantasy music. Hope I'm not breaking any copyrights for this. I'll look for free stuff, so we don't sponsor. We're not getting any ads from the music or from
Right.
ChatGPT for that matter. All right. Okay. Simon and Ella are both ready to start.
Let me go grab a
Please,
beer.
all right. Please begin with episode 1.
Back.
Okay.
Episode 1 Feast of Worms. The air hangs heavy with the stink of rain-soaked earth and something far fouler, rot, old and wet, as if the land itself has been left to spoil. Black clouds choke the moon, and thunder rolls over the ridges of the Stormhorn Mountains, drowning out the rustle of carrion crows feasting in the trees. Simon and Ella have been riding the bounty trail for 3 days. Their boots slick with mud and their tempers worn raw. The parchment in Simon's pack promised easy coin. A deserter from Cormier's Purple Dragons, last seen lurking in the forgotten mining village of Gravenhollow. The man's crimes? Murder, theft, and heresy against the gods. But no light spills from Gravenhollow's windows, no dogs bark, no smoke curls from the chimneys. The village squats silent beneath the storm, its thatched roof sagging under decades of neglect. And yet, fresh tracks mark the road leading in. Bare feet. Dozens of them, too many for one man. Ella's keen gnomish eyes catch it first. Worms wriggling in the footprints, fat and pale, as if drawn from the earth by the passing wind. The tracks lead straight into the square, where a broken fountain stands like a snapped spine. A bell tolls once, flat and hollow. Simon, the parchment suddenly feels heavier in your pack. Ella, the worms in the tracks begin to stir, as though sensing your presence. What do you do?
That's a good question.
Simon will investigate parchment on my. Was that a sneeze?
That was Jeff, yeah.
Bless you.
He can't hear you.
Okay.
Simon pulls the sodden parchment free from his pack. The ink has bled in the rain, but the jagged script is still legible. The bounty mark is official, sealed with the sigil of Cormier, but something feels wrong. The name, Darien Bell. The crime, desertion, theft of holy relics, murder of fellow soldiers. The bounty, alive if possible, dead if not. Reward, 200 gold. But there's a line scrawled at the bottom in a hand that does not belong to any scribe of the crown. It wasn't there when Simon first took the job. The words look carved into the page rather than written, ragged grooves as though a blade pressed them into the fibers. He feeds them now, and they feed him. The parchment twitches faintly in Simon's hand, as if a worm trapped between the sheets of paper writhes and presses against his fingers. Ella, you see Simon's grip tighten as the parchment shivers. The footprints in the mud around you begin to fill with rainwater, and pale worms float to the surface, slick and swollen. Do you press onward into Gravenhollow Square, or do you pause here to search the area more carefully?
I would prefer to just press on.
Okay. Press on into Graven Hollow. Let me turn down the volume a little bit. There we go.
So we just showed up in this town and got a bounty?
Squelching in the muck as the storm lashes the ruined village. The bell's echo dies, leaving only the hiss of rain and the squirm of worms beneath your soles. As you enter Gravenhollow Square, the stench hits first. Thick, sweet, choking. The fountain at the center is choked with weeds and rainwater, but something pale bobs on the surface. Dozens of somethings. Skulls, stripped bare, their eye sockets staring skyward. The worms coil through their jaws like living tongues. Around the square, the cottages are not abandoned after all. Candles gutter in a few shattered windows. Shapes stand in the shadows. Gaunt villagers, their skin gray with hunger, their eyes glazed, their jaws working as though chewing unseen food. One by one, their heads turn toward you. The largest shape steps forward from a chapel door at the far end of the square. He is draped in tattered purple dragon armor, the crest half torn away, his face gaunt and crawling with worms. The deserter, Darien Bell. His voice rasps like grave soil. Outsiders, come to feed the feast. Behind him, the villagers stir, dozens of them, shuffling into the rain with jaws snapping. Simon and Ella, you're surrounded on three sides by shambling, worm-chewed villagers, and Darien stands before the chapel, his hand resting on the hilt of a rusted sword. Do you ready for a fight or attempt to speak with him?
What's your class?
I'm a level 3 fighter, Eldritch Knight, and a level 1 rogue for sneak attack.
I say we leave.
All right.
I don't think two of us are going to take on a shit ton of these worm-headed motherfuckers.
Simon and Ella back up and attempt to leave, seeing that Darien is already dead.
The rain thickens as you back away, your boots slapping against the sodden mud. The villagers follow with jerky steps, their mouths working like lamprey, teeth clacking against teeth. Worms drip from their lips and fall into the puddles at your feet. Darien doesn't advance. He simply watches, the shadows of the chapel yawning behind him. His voice carries through the storm, low and hollow, but not shouted. You can't leave. You came for me. Now you stay for them. The villagers close ranks, cutting off the street behind you. Their bodies are thin, bones jutting beneath their flesh, but there are many of them, more than 24. You see two possible routes. To the left, a collapsed stable, its beams jutting like broken ribs, might allow you to scramble through and circle around the mob. To the right, a narrow alley between cottages, clogged with rain barrels and debris, looks like it could be squeezed through. Straight ahead, Darian blocks the chapel steps, worms writhing at his boots. Ella, with your small size and sharp eyes, you spot that some of the villagers' movements are sluggish. Mud caked on their legs, worms stitching their wounds. They're not fast, but if they swarm, they'll drag you both under. Simon, the parchment in your hand grows damp and soft, and you swear you hear a faint wet chewing from it. Do you cut through the stable, force the alley, or charge Darian head on?
Cut to the stable.
I'd try to cut through the stable. What do you want to do?
I'm up for charging Darian head on.
You go for it, big boy.
Simon will charge Darian head on while Ella watches.
In the stable.
While Ella tries to escape through the
Hides. I'm not escaping. I'm hiding. I'm watching.
tries to hide in the stable.
The storm rages as you split, Simon lowering his shoulder and charging the worm-ridden deserter, Ella vanishing into the shadows of the collapsed stable. Simon, you thunder across the square, water and muck spraying from your boots. Darian pulls his rust-spotted sword free, but he doesn't lunge. He simply spreads his arms wide as if welcoming the blow. Worms writhe out from his armor seams, dangling in ropes. Behind him, the chapel door yawns like a throat. The villagers shriek as you pass them, their cries more insect than human. Some reach for you with broken fingers, but miss, too slow to stop your rush. Darian lowers his arms at the last instant, steel scraping free, and brings the blade down toward your head. Simon, roll for initiative. Ella. The stable's roof has collapsed, leaving a jagged lattice of beams. You dart through the wreckage like smoke, your small frame slipping where no man could follow. The stink of rot is thick. Dead horses lie in heaps under the rubble, crawling with white larvae. Worms burst as your boots touch the hay, their insides black. From this vantage, you see the square in full. The villagers pressing inward, Simon squaring off against Darian at the chapel steps, the rain washing blood and worms into the fountain. None of the villagers have noticed you. Yet. Ella, make a stealth check to see how well you remain hidden in the stable shadows.
Sure.
Would you like me to roll for Darian and the villagers now, or wait for Simon and Ella's results before the full initiative order is set?
I will roll initiative. If I can find it. There it is.
I didn't mean to do it twice, but we'll go with the first one.
Well, hold on a second. I'm enrolled 9 for initiative. And Ella rolled. What'd you roll?
19 for stealth plus 1.
19 for
So
stealth.
20 overall.
20 stealth.
I'm Whittle. Dressed all in black.
Perfect. Here's how it plays out. Initiative order. Darian Bell rolled 13, Simon 9, villagers Horde 4. Ella's stealth. With a roll of 20, you melt into the stable's ruin. Even the crows in the rafters don't notice you. The villagers' cloudy eyes sweep past, blind to your presence. You are effectively hidden, poised for a strike, or to slip deeper into shadow. Round 1 begins. Darian Bell, The deserter steps forward on the chapel stairs, rain streaking down his worm-clotted face. He raises his rusted sword in both hands and lets it fall with a guttural roar, aiming to split Simon in two. Attack roll, 15 versus AC 15. The steel scrapes across your chain shirt, sparks spitting, and nearly bites deep, but your armor holds. Worms splatter against your chest, sizzling in the rain. You'll break, like the rest, he hisses. Simon, your turn. You stand toe-to-toe with Darian, villagers closing slowly in behind. You've got your full arsenal. Blades, spells, brute force. What do you do? Ella, you remain unseen, the dead horses and beams your cover. From here, you could fire from the shadows with bow or dagger, or maneuver to flank. None of the villagers know you're there. Do you want to take your action this round to strike from hiding, or hold until the next moment is ripe?
I'm gonna hold.
Oh, we'll hold her action for now. Wait, you skipped Simon's turn.
You're absolutely right. Thanks for catching that. We're still in round 1, and Simon goes after Darian before the villagers. Let's rewind and resolve that. Round 1, continued. Simon's turn, initiative 9. Darian's rusted blade just scrapes sparks off your chain shirt, nearly splitting you down the middle. Rain pours over his gaunt face, worms writhing in his armor seams. The villagers are circling, but not yet upon you. You've got breathing room, enough to swing steel, unleash fire, or try something clever. What's Simon's move?
Simon will attack with both of his scimitars. He rolls a 9 and a 22 to hit.
Simon's attack. You draw both scimitars in a flash of steel, rain sluicing off their edges. 9. Darian twists his torso unnaturally, his body bending almost boneless as the blade whistles past. Worms spill from his side where you would have cut him, but he doesn't flinch. Miss. Second strike, 22. Your other scimitar carves across his chest, biting deep into the rotten armor. Flesh splits like soaked parchment. Worms burst from the wound, writhing down your blade in fat, pale coils. Hit. Damage roll? Roll for your scimitar's damage so we can see how much meat you cut away. Ella. Still hidden, action held. Villagers, still shuffling closer, tightening their circle. Their teeth chatter as if gnawing the air. We'll apply your damage to Darian, then move to round 2. Would you like to roll damage now?
Simon rolled a 6, I think it was. Yeah, a 6 for damage.
Can I shoot my short bow now?
On your turn, I would think yes.
All right.
The scimitar carves a 6-inch gash across Darian's chest, splitting armor and rib alike. Black ichor gushes out, thick with writhing worms that spill onto the chapel steps. He staggers but does not fall, his mouth splitting in a too-wide grin, teeth grinding as the worms knit through his wound. You'll feed them well, he hisses, voice gurgling with rot. Villagers turn, round 1 end. The mob closes tighter, hemming Simon in. A few lunge with clawing hands, but they're still a step out of reach, snapping their teeth at the air. The rain hisses off their gray skin. Next round, they'll be on him. Round 2. Order: Darian, Initiative 13, Simon, Initiative 9, Villagers, Initiative 4, Ella, Hidden Action still held. Darian's turn. He snarls, lifting his rust-spotted sword with unnatural strength. Worms writhe down his arms, gripping the steel with him, and he swings again at Simon's head. Attack roll: 17 versus AC 15. Hit. Damage roll: 8 slashing. The blade slams into your shoulder, tearing through chain links. Blood runs hot down your arms, steaming in the storm. Worms cling to the wound, squirming toward the torn flesh. Simon, you're up. Darian in your face. Villagers tightening. Ella unseen. Do you press the attack or try something else?
What else can I do?
Can I use my short bow?
You'll need to roll initiative first.
I'd already rolled my short bow because it's a secret attack.
Hold on. 2 weapon fighting, second wind, reaction, other, sneak attack, spell, find familiar, action surge, sneak attack, weapon bond. False slide, find familiar. Chill touch, dancing lights, firebolt, thaumaturgy, toll the dead. Detect magic, false slide, find familiar. I will cast Toll the Dead. Simon will cast Toll the Dead.
I'm going to shiwi in the barn real quick.
Okay.
So how'd that go?
I cast Toll the Dead and it failed. So it takes 1d12 necrotic damage. Oh, wow. 11. Go ahead and roll your initiative.
I did 6.
Okay. Ella's initiative is a 6. Simon rolled 11 damage from Toll the Dead, which causes Darian to vibrate with the tolling of the bell. shaking him to his core.
Perfect. Here's how it unfolds. Simon's Toll the Dead, 11 damage. The spectral bell tolls with a deep, hollow bomb that rattles the square. Darian jerks as if his bones are tuning forks, worms bursting from his eyes and mouth as necrotic power shakes him apart. His armor groans with the vibration, and black ichor sprays the chapel door. He staggers to one knee, but still clings to his sword, laughing through a mouthful of worms. Ella's initiative 6. She'll act after the villagers in the round order, but since she was hidden and held her strike, she gets a surprise attack now before they react. Ella, from the stable's shadows, you have the perfect shot. Darian, head ringing with Simon's necrotic toll, is wide open. From hiding, you'll have advantage on the attack, and if you hit, you deal sneak attack damage. Roll to hit, and let's see if Ella's blade or arrow buries itself in the deserter while he reels.
All right, here we go again.
What are you going to do?
Well, the first time I tried to hit with a short bow and I got a 15. This time I got a 6. I would rather go with the 15 when I thought I could do it.
All right. You rolled a what? A 16?
No, I rolled a 15
15.
first.
Okay.
Then after the
Yeah.
initiative bullshit, I rolled a 6. I knew I was supposed to get a secret attack.
Right. Ella rolled 15 for attack with her short bow.
Ella's surprise attack. From the shadows of the ruined stable, you draw the bowstring back until it hums. The storm masks the sound, and when you release, the arrow vanishes into the rain. Attack roll 15 versus AC 14, hit. The arrow punches straight into Darian's worm-choked chest, sinking deep beside Simon's earlier scimitar cut. He jerks backward, ichor spraying. The worms that pour out seem frantic now, writhing in every direction as though panicked. Roll 1d6, short bow damage, plus 2 dexterity, plus 2d6 sneak attack damage. This could be the blow that tips him over the edge. Want to roll those dice?
4 and 7.
How did you get 2 damage?
Oh.
2 different damage.
Sorry, I did dagger instead of short bow. So,
Oh.
Hold on a second. 6 short bow damage, 7 sneak attack.
6 short bow damage, and how much was the sneak attack?
7.
7 on the sneak attack.
Ella's damage, 13 total. The arrow drives deep, snapping bone with a crack that echoes even through the storm. Darian reels back against the chapel door, worms exploding from the wound in frantic, wriggling streams. His grin falters at last, blood pouring from his mouth. He glares across the square, eyes locking on the stable where Ella hides. His voice gurgles through torn lungs. Little worm, I see you too. He slams his sword into the doorframe, forcing himself upright despite the ruin of his body. Villagers' turn. Round 2. The mob shrieks as Darian falters, their jaws unhinging wider than human. They surge at Simon, clawing with bony hands. 3 villagers reach striking distance. Attack 1, roll 7, miss, fingers scrape chain shirt. Attack 2, roll 13, miss, claws raking across your shield. Attack 3, roll 18, hit, dealing 3 slashing damage as nails rip across your forearm. The rest close the circle tighter, cutting off retreat. Worms spill from their wounds and slosh in the rainwater pooling around your boots. Round 3. Order. Darian, badly wounded, still standing. Simon, battered, bloodied, but unbroken. Villagers, pressing in. Ella, hidden, revealed now that Darian spotted her. Simon, Darian, is on his last legs, but the villagers are swarming. Do you press the deserter to finish him, or cut down the mob before they drag you under?
How much damage? 3 damage.
I say we keep going after him because it keeps bothering them.
Right. Simon will attack twice with his scimitars. Also, Simon doesn't have a shield.
Good catch. No shield, just twin scimitars flashing in the storm. Let's resolve Simon's strikes. Simon's turn, round 3. You square up, rain streaming down your horns, scimitars gleaming in both fists. Darian staggers in front of you, chest split wide with worms spilling down his armor, but the villagers claw and snap at your flanks. You slash twice. First attack roll, second attack roll. We'll need both attack rolls from you to see if Simon cuts down Darian or carves through the villagers clawing at him. Would you like Simon to focus both swings on Darian to try and end him, or split attacks between Darian and the mob?
Ooh, that's a good question. Will you pull me out if I get pulled under?
Will I what?
Pull me out
From where?
underneath the mob?
I'm an itty bitty thing. I do what I can.
I'll split my attack. $22. Simon will split his attacks. The first attack on Darian is a 22. The second attack on the mob is a 17.
Simon's scimitar attacks. First strike, 22 versus Darian. Your blade flashes and bites deep into Darian's neck. His head doesn't sever cleanly. Instead, it lolls half off, worms spilling from the wound like tangled ropes. His sword clatters to the chapel steps. He gurgles laughter one final time before collapsing in a heap of writhing, headless flesh. His body twitches, but Darian Vell is no more. Second strike, 17 versus Villager. You pivot and slash at the nearest villager. The scimitar slices clean through its shoulder, nearly tearing the arm away. Worms burst from the wound, wriggling down the villager's side, but the thing still staggers forward, teeth snapping. The strike is a hit. Roll damage for this one. The villagers shriek at Darian's fall, a sound like air escaping graves. The circle tightens, their frenzy doubling. Ella, from your vantage in the ruined stable, you see Simon standing blood-soaked in the square, Darian's twitching corpse at his feet, a wall of worm-filled villagers closing in. Simon, roll damage for your second strike, and then Ella, it's your turn.
Seven damage.
Simon's second strike damage, 7. Your scimitar rips through the villager's shoulder, severing muscle and snapping bone. The arm dangles uselessly by a strip of worm flesh before tearing free and hitting the mud with a wet slap. The villager staggers but doesn't fall, shrieking with a voice not its own as worms spill from the ruined stump. The mob seems almost emboldened by Darian's death. Their frenzy rises, and the storm feels heavier. The bells echo rolling again, though no hand touches it. Ella's turn, round 3. The deserter is dead, but the square crawls with villagers. They're closing on Simon, at least 20 still pressing in. You're revealed now. Darian's last words marked you, but you still hold the shadows. You can loose another arrow into the mob from range, slip closer for a melee strike, and sneak attack if you find a flank. Try to use your environment, the stable beams, the rotting horse corpses, to gain advantage or distract the villagers. What does Ella do?
Well, Ella would like to use her oil flask and her tinder box and a little piece of fabric to create a Molotov cocktail and throw it at these motherfuckers as far away from you as I can.
Take oil and add a piece of fabric to create a Molotov cocktail. And she will throw it where?
Where there are the most of these things that are far enough away from you. So towards, I guess, the outside edges.
Toward the outside edges of the villagers' crowd.
And I have 2 oil flasks that are 2 pounds apiece. So I have one more. I'd like to do a little
Ella's turn. Round 3. Improvised fire. You duck deeper into the stable wreckage, hands working fast. One of your flasks of oil, a torn strip of fabric from a rotting horse blanket, and the storm's wind sheltering your spark. Within seconds, you've crafted a makeshift firebomb. The rain fights you, but with flint and steel, you catch enough flame to light the rag. The fire sputters, struggling against the storm, then catches with a greasy orange glow. You hurl the Molotov high, aiming for the outer ring of villagers. Attack roll, improvised ranged weapon, equals 16. Hit. The flask shatters in the mud at the villagers' feet. Oil splashes across half a dozen of them. Fire whooshes up in the rain, clinging to rags and flesh. The things shriek as they burn, worms bursting from their bodies like popcorn in the flames. 3 collapse instantly, thrashing in the mud, while the others stagger but remain upright, charred and gnashing. Damage. 6 fire, splashing over multiple targets. The firelight casts horrific shadows across the square, the mob writhing in flame as the storm hisses down. The smell is worse than anything yet. Burnt hair, roasted flesh, and wet ash. Villagers turn. Round 3 end. The horde surges at Simon. More villagers pour in. He is being swarmed.
Do I get my sneak attack?
Attack 1. Roll 19. Hit 4 slashing damage. Attack 2. Roll 5. Miss. Claws scrape his pauldron. Attack 3. Roll 16. Hit 3 slashing damage. Simon takes 7 damage total as claws rip into his arms and sides, blood mixing with rain. The villagers' mouths snap at his face, worms dangling from their lips. Round 4 begins. Simon, wounded, encircled. Ella, hidden behind stable wreckage, fire casting you in flickering shadow. Villagers, 20 dwindled to about 15, some aflame and shrieking. Simon, what's your move? Do you cut your way through, unleash a spell, or call for Ella to act in tandem?
7 damage to start off with. I need to look to see what my spells are again. Chill touch. Dancing lights, firebolt, thaumaturgy, toll of the dead, false life, find familiar. Chill touch probably wouldn't do any good.
What can I do with Phantom?
I don't know. I didn't look to see what you could do on this one.
As a rogue, I have the Phantom option, but I don't really, excuse me, I don't really understand it.
Okay. Simon will full on attack the crowd twice with the scimitars.
Got it. No attack or damage rolls from me for Simon or Ella. You call those, and I'll narrate the aftermath. Simon's turn, round 4. You plant your boots in the sucking mud, teeth bared, both scimitars dripping blood and worm ichor. The villagers press close, clawing and snapping. With a roar, you spin, blades flashing like arcs of lightning in the storm. Your first slash carves through one villager's chest, splitting ribs like wet kindling. Worms burst from the cavity, hissing in the rain as the thing crumples. The second strike follows through, hacking into another's neck. Its head doesn't sever cleanly. It tears away with a rip, dangling by skin and worm flesh until you kick the body down and send the head rolling into the fire. 2 fall. The mob staggers but closes tighter, their frenzy unbroken. The smell of scorched worm flesh fills your lungs. Flames dance at the square's edge, shadows giving you perfect cover. You see Simon bathed in blood and firelight, cutting down foes but surrounded. The villagers still number in the teens. The square is now a slaughterhouse. But the question is whether Simon and Ella can break the mob before they're dragged under. Ella, it's your action. What's your next move?
Ooh.
What you gonna do?
I'm gonna throw a potion of healing in one of these motherfuckers.
One of the zombies or villagers?
Yeah, would that help?
That would heal them if anything.
Would it get rid of the wormies?
I don't know. We can. You want to try it?
Yeah, I got one potion of healing. Let's just go ahead and try it.
Ella throws a potion of healing at one of the villagers.
Smack him in the face.
Trying to hit it in the face.
Break the bottle and heal them.
Break the bottle and heal them of their worms.
Hopefully.
Of their worms.
That's clever and twisted. Let's see how it plays out. Ella's turn, round 4, healing by force. From the shadows of the stable, you pull a potion of healing, not for Simon this time, but to test if it burns the rot out of these husks. You wind your arm back and hurl it. The glass smashes across the villager's face, shards cutting into rotten skin. The potion splashes into its mouth and eyes. For a heartbeat, the mob falls silent, watching. The villager stiffens. Its gray skin flushes pink in patches, hair regrows in clumps, and its sunken eyes clear. It looks almost human again, until the worms erupt. The parasites shriek as they bubble out of its skin, smoking where the holy alchemy touches them. The villager drops to its knees, clutching its face, coughing worms onto the ground until its body finally goes still. What remains is a man's corpse, jaw slack but free of infestation. The other villagers hiss and recoil from the steaming body, but only for a moment. The mob closes in again, shrieking louder than before. Villagers turn. Round 4. The swarm lashes at Simon with renewed fury. 4 strike this time. 1 claws at your arm but glances off the chain shirt. 2 rake their nails across your back, tearing deep furrows. Another lunges for your throat, snapping with worm-choked teeth. Simon takes more punishment, but he's still standing, bloodied, drenched, blades red with ichor. Round 5 begins. Simon, encircled, cut and bleeding, villagers pressing harder. Ella, hidden but revealed by the crash of glass, the mob aware of your position now. Villagers, maybe 13 left, some still smoldering in fire, some clawing Simon apart. Simon, do you keep hacking through, or do you and Ella try to break out of the square?
I say we break out of the square.
Come back to me, and I'll do another Molotov cocktail, maybe.
Okay.
Let me make sure I have that.
Someone runs back to the stable with Ella, and she will prepare another Molotov cocktail.
Yeah, I still got another oil flax.
Okay.
Simon's turn, round 5. Retreat to the stable. You wrench free of the mob with a spray of blood and mud, boots hammering the sodden ground as you sprint toward the ruined stable. Villagers snap and claw as you break their circle. Filthy nails rake your armor, but you shoulder through. The storm howls. Lightning cracking over Graven Hollow as you dive past collapsed beams and skid into the shadows beside Ella. The smell of burnt horseflesh and oil is thick in here. The rain only partly keeping the flames at bay. Behind you, the mob shrieks. 15 throats in unison, worms writhing from their mouths. Their shuffling quickens, hungry feet slapping in the muck as they lurch after you. Ella's turn. By the time Simon slams into cover, you're already moving. Oil flask uncorked, fabric stuffed in, spark ready. The second Molotov glows in your hand, the fire sputtering against the storm's fury. The villagers are only steps away, their shadows stretching long and broken across the mud as they close in on the stable. You have the shot. Do you want Ella to aim directly at the mob's center to torch as many as possible, or hurl it at the ground between you and them to create a fiery barrier and slow their advance?
What you want, Big Daddy?
I say throw it at the ground between you and them.
All right, and then we got to find another way out real quick.
Okay. Ella throws the torch at the
I can throw 2. I've got 2 left.
ground between her and the mob.
I said, bitch.
Ella's turn, round 5. Fire break. The rag flares in your hand, rain hissing against the flame. With the mob shrieking closer, you hurl the Molotov low and hard. The flask bursts across the mud just outside the stable, oil splashing wide. The ground ignites in a greasy wall of fire. The flames leap up taller than a man, fed by the rain's slick oil. Smoke boils black, sparks drifting through the storm. Worms caught in the splash shrivel and pop, their high-pitched keening lost beneath the roar of fire. The villagers skid to a halt, the front ranks hissing and screaming, their flesh blistering in the heat. A few mindless husks stumble into the blaze and collapse, thrashing as they burn, but the rest recoil, circling wide, unwilling or unable to cross the barrier. The square now. Simon and Ella crouch in the wreckage of the stable, shielded by fire and shadow.
Would you grab me
At least 10 villagers remain beyond the flames, pacing like wolves,
Thank you.
their silhouettes distorted in the firelight. Darian's corpse still twitches by the chapel steps, worms writhing from the neck stump, dragging his carcass closer to the door as if being pulled inside. The mob is stalled for now, but not broken. The fire has bought you time. Do you want to use this breather to regroup and heal, or press an attack through the fire while they're scattered and shrieking?
What do you want to do?
I say we run.
Okay.
Gracias.
Ella and Simon run away.
Retreat from Graven Hollow. You don't wait to see what happens when Darian's twitching body reaches the chapel door. The fire roars at your backs as you sprint through the stable's wreckage, boots pounding in the muck, breath ragged in your throats. Behind you, the villagers scream in unison, their voices twisting together into one hideous shriek that rattles your teeth. Worms hiss and pop in the fire, but more husks circle the blaze, too slow and too many to catch you. The rain hammers down, drumming on your armor and soaking your cloaks as you flee into the night. Graven Hollow shrinks behind you, black cottages burning in the storm, the chapel looming with its broken bell tolling a final, hollow note. After a quarter hour, the screams fade into the thunder. You find yourselves on a muddy road leading back into the Stormhorns, lungs burning, blood mixing with rainwater on your skin. The parchment in Simon's pack is gone, rotted away into pulp. All that remains is the seal of Cormier's bounty office, stuck to the leather like a leech. The village of Graven Hollow is behind you. The deserter Darian Vell is dead, but something pulled him and the worms toward that chapel, and it isn't finished. For now, you live. But in the Forgotten Realms, nothing that feeds on worms ever truly dies. Do you want me to close out episode 1, Feast of Worms, with a short, cinematic cliffhanger stinger, or leave it hanging right here with Simon and Ella stumbling into the storm?
You want a cliffhanger?
No, I want to continue.
How much longer do you want to play?
Well, I'd like to play for like at least another hour.
Okay. Let's continue from here.
Got it. We'll carry forward without a cut. The storm lashes harder as you push deeper into the mountain road, each fork of lightning showing the jagged ridges of the Stormhorns looming above. Simon's shoulder burns from the villagers' claws, and Ella's hands still stink of oil and smoke. The air is heavy with the copper tang of blood, but also something else. A smell rides the rain, sharp and sour, cutting through mud and rot, alchemy. Not the crude stench of oil and tar, but something finer. Tinctures, reagents, powder. Up ahead, the road bends around a rocky outcrop where a shattered signpost leans in the mud. By the light of lightning, you can just make out a symbol painted on the wood, smeared and worn, but still legible. A coiled serpent devouring its own tail. At the base of the post, half sheltered under an outcrop, a lantern flickers. Someone else is out here. Ella's sharp ears catch the shuffle of boots on stone. Measured, deliberate, not like the dragging shamble of the villagers. Simon, you feel the pull of a watchful eye, though the storm is empty around you. Do you approach the lantern and signpost, or circle wide into the rocks and trees to avoid whoever waits ahead?
We can circle wide and try and see who this person is.
Okay. We circle wide to see who the person is.
Circling wide, you slip off the muddy road and into the rocks and dripping trees. The forest here is skeletal, black firs leaning under the storm, their roots clutching the slope like claws. Rain patters on needles and stone, masking your steps as you circle around. The lantern's glow pulses through the trees. As you creep closer, you make out the figure. A man, hood drawn low, cloak slick with rain. He kneels before the serpent-marked signpost, murmuring words you can't catch over the thunder. In his hand is a vial, faintly glowing blue, which he pours carefully onto the muddy ground. Steam hisses up where it touches earth. When he stands, the lantern light catches his face just long enough. Scarred cheek, pale eyes that don't blink. He turns the signpost so the serpent symbol faces the storm, then whispers, "The worms will not take this ground." His head lifts suddenly, as if he's heard something beyond the storm. His pale eyes sweep the trees. Simon, your muscles tense. He's looking almost directly where you crouch. Ella, your instincts scream, he isn't some lost traveler. That serpent sigil, the alchemical smell, the pale eyes, it reeks of cult or secret order. He calls out, voice flat but strong. Come out. Hunters should not skulk like thieves. Do you step from the trees and confront him, or stay hidden and watch?
Step from the trees.
Step from the trees. What's that noise in the background?
It's the Willow soundtrack. I'll turn it down.
Okay.
The storm wind tears at your cloaks as you step from the dripping trees into the lantern's glow. The man's eyes fix on you both at once. No flicker of surprise, no reach for a weapon. His pale gaze is steady, unsettlingly calm. The blue vial is empty in his gloved hand, glass gleaming with rain. You are not worms, he says simply, studying you as if weighing the truth of it. His voice is hoarse, gravel dragged through a throat long unused. That makes you useful. He plants the empty vial into the mud, like a marker on a grave. The serpent sigil on the signpost gleams in the lantern light, the paint fresh despite the storm. I saw the fires from Graven Hollow, he continues. Darien is ash now, yes? The way he says the deserter's name is not a question. It is ritual, confirmation of something foretold. He takes one step closer, boots sinking in mud. If you lived through that, then you've seen the beginning. You'll see more, unless you'd rather rot like the rest. He doesn't threaten, doesn't beg, just stares with those pale eyes that catch every flicker of lightning. Do Simon or Ella answer him directly, or do you keep cautious silence to hear what more he'll reveal?
I'm going to ask him, is there anything else you can tell us?
Simon will tell him that Darien was not turned to ash. His corpse was being drawn off by worms. Elvis says, what now?
I'd like to ask him if there's anything he can help us with.
Ella asks him if there's anything he can help us with.
The man's pale eyes narrow at Simon's words. He doesn't flinch, but his jaw sets. muscle twitching beneath the scar on his cheek. Drawn off, he repeats, like testing the weight of the phrase. His hand hovers briefly over the serpent sigil, almost in benediction, before he lets it fall. Then Darian is not finished. The worms will knit him, drag him down, make him walk again. What you saw was not death, it was only feeding. When Ella speaks, his eyes shift to her, tacked softer, but still piercing. He studies you for a long moment, the storm filling the silence. Then, with a deliberate motion, he reaches beneath his cloak. He pulls free another vial, this one filled with a liquid the color of molten silver. Tiny bubbles rise inside it like breath. He holds it out, careful not to step closer than the edge of the lantern's glow. This will keep them out, for a night. If they bite you, drink. If they try to crawl in, pour it into the wound. It burns, but it is better than becoming theirs. He closes his fist around the vial before offering it fully. But nothing is free. You want my help? You bring me proof when Darian rises again. Cut free his heart, or what's left of it, and bring it here. Only then can I bind the worms beneath this soil. The storm cracks lightning overhead, turning his pale eyes silver for a heartbeat. Do Simon and Ella accept the silver vial in his bargain, or refuse and strike out on your own?
I accept it.
We accept the vial and the bargain.
There's trees around these parts, right?
Yeah, we were hiding in them.
The man studies you both for a long, silent beat, as if measuring the truth of your choice. Then he presses the vial into Simon's hand. The glass is icy, and the liquid within sloshes like quicksilver, glowing faintly against the storm-dark night. The worms will rise again, he says. They always do. Darian's corpse will not stay still. When it stands, follow the stench, follow the silence. It will drag others to the feast. He turns back to the serpent sigil, fingers tracing its painted lines. Cut out his heart and bring it here. Only then will his hunger end. Fail, and Graven Hollow will not be the last. With that, he steps back into the storm, lantern swinging low. The rain seems to swallow him whole. Within moments, he's gone, leaving only the hissing of the vial's silver light in Simon's hand and the coiled serpent staring down from the broken post. The road forks ahead. One path climbs higher into the storm horns, toward old mine shafts and the echo of distant thunder. The other slopes down into the lowlands, back toward the main trade road where safety, or at least civilization, might be found. The worms will rise, but where and when is not yet clear. Do you head toward the mountains to hunt Darian's return before he gathers strength, or retreat to regroup and lick your wounds first?
Do you need to lick your wounds?
I think so. Yeah, I'm 29 out of 47. A short rest wouldn't be bad.
All right, I'll stay up.
You're not going to take a rest?
I don't see the point in it. I think I'm still good. Hold on. Let me check. I got 34 out of 37, so I'm okay.
Okay.
Take a cat nap, but that's it.
Right.
You hunker beneath the dripping first, the serpent sigil looming over the muddy road. The storm begins to ease, thunder rolling farther off, rain thinning to a steady drizzle. Simon, you sink down against a rock outcrop, scimitars laid across your knees, your armor still streaked with blood and worm ichor. The silver vial glows faintly in your hand, like bottled moonlight. The warmth of a short rest steadies your breath, your wounds closing with bandages and grit. You may roll hit dice to recover hit points and regain abilities as per a short rest. Ella, you perch on a broken beam under the dripping trees, eyes fixed on the road. The forest is restless, branches creak, rain ticks like claws on bark. Twice you hear shapes moving out there, but each time it's only crows taking wing, their cries echoing through the mountain pass. And yet, somewhere far below, carried thin on the storm's tail, you hear the toll of a bell. Once, twice, hollow, echoing up the valley. Simon, after your rest, you feel steadier, but the echo of that bell gnaws in your gut. Ella, you're certain it came from the direction of Graven Hollow. Do you head back toward the cursed village now that you've recovered, or follow the mountain road to try and cut off whatever rises before it spreads?
Give me a second. I gotta pee.
Okay. I will take a short rest.
Good. All right.
Hold on. All right, what are we gonna do? Go back to Graven Hollow?
Which is where we
Well,
encountered.
yeah, and cut the heart out of Darien.
We can try.
Okay. We head back towards Graven Hollow to retrieve the heart of Darien.
Can I coat this shit on one of my weapons?
I don't know. Probably.
The road down to Graven Hollow is slick with mud, every step a sucking pull. The storm has broken, leaving the sky bruised and pale, the moon a sickly smear behind ragged clouds. As you approach the village outskirts, the silence is worse than the screams. No wind, no crows, no villagers shuffling in the square, only the faint reek of smoke and rot drifting through the streets. The square itself is a charnel house. The fountain is choked with half-burned corpses, their jaws gaping, their bodies blackened. Worms squirm through the ashes, pale and restless. The chapel door is ajar, its threshold smeared with a trail of slime and ichor leading inward. Darian's body is gone. The bell tolls again. Closer now, from within the chapel itself. Hollow, bone deep. The double doors groan in the wind, lantern lights spilling out from inside, swaying as if carried by unseen hands. Simon and Ella, you know what waits in there. Darian, pulled back together by the feast. If you want his heart, you'll have to carve through what he has become. Do you push straight into the chapel, or attempt to scout it first, peering in from the shadows?
We should probably scout a little bit.
We scout the exterior of the chapel stealthily.
Scouting the chapel. You slip into the shadows, circling the chapel's exterior. The building squats at the far end of the square, like a corpse too stubborn to lie down. Its stone walls are cracked, roof sagging beneath decades of rot. Rainwater runs in thin streams down broken stained glass windows, where saints' faces have been eroded into hollow-eyed masks. Ella. Your small frame moves silently through weeds and broken gravestones. You catch the glimmer of lantern light through a crack in the chapel wall. Shadows lurching inside, though none steady enough to be human. The bell rope dangles loose, yet the tolling comes still, low and steady, vibrating the stone beneath your palms. Simon. From your vantage, you see thick trails of slime leading into narrow gaps in the foundation, wormholes chewed into the stone. The earth smells sour, overripe. Something is nesting beneath the chapel, moving in and out like veins feeding the corpse. At the rear of the building, you find a crumbling side door, half rotted and hanging askew. It leads directly into the chapel vestry. From here, you have options. Front doors, straight into the nave, where the lantern glow and bell tolling are strongest. Side door, quieter, leads into the vestry, from which you could approach the main hall unseen. Foundation tunnels, riskier, but you might enter through the same wormholes that carried Darian's body inside. Do Simon and Ella storm the front, creep through the vestry, or crawl into the tunnels below?
I'm going for tunnels. What about you?
We can do tunnels.
All right.
We proceed to travel through the tunnels.
The wormholes beneath the chapel. You crouch low, slipping into the slime slick gaps chewed through the chapel's foundation. The air here is colder, thick with the stench of damp stone and rotting meat. Worms writhe in the mud, slick against your boots, retreating deeper at your touch. The tunnel winds beneath the chapel, narrow enough that Simon has to duck and scrape his shoulders against the stone. Ella, you slip ahead with ease, your eyes catching the faint glow that pulses through the muck like veins carrying liquid fire. The tolling of the bell is louder here, no longer above you, but around you, as though the earth itself is chiming. Each toll makes the slime tremble and drip. Then you hear it, a dragging sound. Flesh sliding wetly, armored boots scraping stone, a hiss, like 100 mouths whispering at once. You come to a crack in the foundation where you can look up into the chapel's crypt. Lanterns gutter there, casting light over a slab of stone where Darian's body has been laid. His chest has been split wide and worms crawl in and out like maggots in a hive. His eyes open, milky, crawling with pale things, and his head jerks toward the crack. Hunters! The voice rasps, but it's not Darian's anymore. A chorus of whispers spills from his chest cavity, every worm speaking through him. The heart you came for beats there, visible in his chest, black, swollen, writhing with pale coils. You are still hidden in the tunnels. Do you burst through now and strike before he rises fully, or try to slip closer in silence for a more precise, deadly blow?
Uh, Personally, I'd strike before he rises fully.
Okay. Both Simon and Ella burst through now and strike before he rises fully.
The Crypt of the Worms. You smash through the cracked foundation in a burst of stone and slime. Simon barrels forward, twine scimitars flashing in the lantern glow, rainwater still dripping from his horns. Ella darts low at his side, a blur of shadow and steel, her blade gleaming wickedly. On the slab, Darian's body convulses, worms pouring from his chest to knit sinew and bone together. His milky eyes snap wide, jaw tearing open too far, disgorging a writhing mass that wriggles across his chest like a second tongue. The bell tolls once more. Boom! And the worms shriek in unison. Surprise round. You catch him as he's still rising, half bound to the stone. Simon, your first scimitar buries itself in his collarbone, sending worms exploding like burst grapes. Your second cuts low, spilling ichor across the slab. Ella, you slip in under Simon's strike, your dagger finding the swollen, pulpit black heart writhing in his chest cavity. With all your strength, you plunge it home. The heart shudders, beats once, then twice, each pulse shaking the crypt. Worms writhe violently, bursting from Darian's chest and scattering across the floor. His mouth stretches wide, a scream ripping out, not his, but the chorus of all the villagers who fed him. The body thrashes, then collapses back onto the slab, chest cavity gaping wide. The black heart wriggles still, weakly twitching, but it is yours for the taking. The chapel shudders overhead, dust sifting from the rafters. The bell swings violently without a hand to pull it. Worms slither back into the earth, fleeing into the foundation. Do Simon and Ella carve the heart free now and risk carrying it still twitching, or do you attempt to burn it here in the crypt before it can call the worms again?
Carve it free now.
Yeah.
Carve it free now.
The heart of Darianvel, Ella's dagger bites into the swollen, blackened heart. It resists at first, its flesh tough, slick with worm slime, but with a grunt and twist, you slice it loose from the web of veins that tether it to Darian's ribcage. It comes free with a wet schlock. The heart is hot in your hands, pulsing faintly, worms writhing across its surface. Each beat rattles the lantern flames, echoing in your ears like the tolling of the chapel bell. The body on the slab deflates instantly, armor collapsing inward as the worms abandon it, leaving only an empty husk. Simon, your scimitars drip ichor that steams in the crypt's lantern light. You can feel the vibration of the heart in Ella's hands through the air itself, as though the thing's pulse shakes the whole room. Above, the bell tolls one last time before falling silent. Dust drifts down. The chapel itself seems to sigh, the air lightening, the stench of rot thinning. For the first time since you entered Graven Hollow, there's quiet. You have the heart. The pale-eyed man waits at the serpent's sigil for proof of Darian's end. The road back through the square is clear, though the corpses of villagers still lie heaped and smoking around the fountain. Do you return directly to him with your grisly prize, or take time to search the chapel crypt for anything else left behind in the wake of Darian's corruption?
Let's search the chapel crypt.
Yeah.
We searched the chapel crypt.
Searching the crypt lantern's gutter low as you move through the crypt, the shadows long and quivering. The worms have retreated, but their slime still clings to the stones, glowing faintly in streaks. Simon, you pry open a rotted chest half buried in the muck. Inside are old arms and armor left to rust, but among them you find a purple dragon officer's insignia, silver and still gleaming despite the filth. Worth coin in Cormer, or perhaps dangerous proof of Darian's betrayal. Ella, your eyes catch a glimmer beneath a collapsed slab. Digging with deft hands, you pull free a small iron box. The lock is corroded, but your tools slip through the rust like silk. Inside, wrapped in black cloth, is a book bound in wormskin. The pages writhe faintly, words shifting when you try to read them. Its title burned into the leather in jagged glyphs. The Canticle of the Feast. Beside the book rests a stoppered vial, thick green liquid glowing faintly like swamp light caught in glass. It smells acrid, alchemical. At the far end of the crypt, a cracked wall gives way to a niche where offerings must have been left. Most are rotted away, but a silver holy symbol of Lathander still gleams, untouched by time. You now hold Darian's black, writhing heart, purple dragon officer's insignia, canticle of the feast, wormskin tome, vial of alchemical green liquid, silver holy symbol of Lathander. The crypt grows colder, as if urging you out, the silence heavier with every passing breath. Do you take everything with you, or leave some behind? Especially the wormskin tome, which feels wrong to even touch.
I'm going to take it all. We can split it up, but I'm definitely taking the book.
And
I'm not wrapped
Simon
up in
takes
leather.
them all. Ella takes the book.
No, Ella does not lift the wormskin tome with her bare hands. She wraps it up in leather first. I ain't
Do you
stupid.
have leather?
I'll check. Hold
The
on.
loot vanishes into your packs and belts, one piece at a time, each object heavy with its own dread. Simon slips the purple dragon insignia into his pouch, its silver sheen dulled against the blood on his gauntlet. The holy symbol of Lathander hangs from his belt, oddly warm against the chill of the crypt. The green vial clinks softly in his pack, its contents glowing faintly even through leather. Ella lifts the wormskin tome with bare hands. The cover feels alive, pulsing faintly beneath her touch, but she does not flinch. When she stows it in her pack, it writhes once, then lies still, as though waiting. The black heart beats steadily in its wrappings, each pulse rattling the lanterns as if reminding you not to linger. When you ascend from the crypt, the chapel is dead silent. The bell hangs motionless. The firelight from the square outside shows only heaps of charred bodies smoldering in the drizzle,
Yay!
or hiding. The road out of Graven Hollow is clear. The serpent sigil waits in the mountains, and so does the pale-eyed man. Do Simon and Ella march straight back through the storm to deliver Darian's heart, or do they stop and rest first before facing him again with their grisly prize?
Let's just go back.
Go back and deliver it.
Mm-hmm.
We go back now and deliver the heart.
But I'm not letting them know about the book.
Okay.
Or actually, I'm going to let them know there was a book found in the area, but we left it there.
Okay.
Return to the serpent sigil. The road from Graven Hollow is nothing but mud, ash, and silence. The storm has bled itself out, leaving the air damp and heavy, mist curling low over the ground. The only sound is the wet thump of the heart in Ella's pack, its beat never faltering. At the leaning signpost, the lantern glows again. The pale-eyed man waits, cloak hanging like wet parchment, pale gaze fixed on you before you even step into the circle of light. His eyes track the heart as if he can hear it pulsing from your pack. You've done it, he rasps. His hand lifts, trembling slightly, not from weakness, but anticipation. Bring it here. When Ella lays the heart upon the mud, it squirms violently, worms writhing from its veins as if to flee. The man uncorks a fresh vial of silver liquid and pours it over the black flesh. The heart convulses, beating faster, louder, until with a shriek it bursts into 1,000 pale worms. They writhe, boiling against the silver fire, then collapse into ash. The ground drinks the remains. The man exhales slowly, the first hint of relief in his features. He looks at Simon, then at Ella. You severed the feast. Graven Hollow is done. His eyes flick toward Ella's pack, lingering a moment too long, before shifting back. But you've carried away more than flesh. He steps back, lantern swaying, and raises a hand over the serpent sigil. The bargain is paid. You walk free for now, but the canticle you carry will not be silent. The feast is never truly ended, it only waits. He lowers his hand, pale eyes glinting. When it calls to you, hunters, you'll know, and if you are wise, you'll burn it before it sings. With that, he turns and walks into the mist. Within moments, the lantern glow fades, leaving only the dripping forest and the serpent sigil gleaming faintly in the dark. Episode 1 Feast of Worms. End. Simon and Ella survived Graven Hollow, severed Darian's corruption, and delivered his heart to the pale-eyed man. Yet Ella carries the canticle of the feast, and its pages are not quiet. Do you want me to draft the opening stinger for episode 2 so it begins with a hard cinematic hook? Or keep it paused here until you're ready to start the next chapter?
Keep it paused here for the next chapter.
Okay.
Keep it paused here until we're ready to start episode 2. Thank you. You did a great job. It was fun. Can't wait until the next game.
I'm glad you had fun. That was a hell of a start. Simon and Ella carved their way through some seriously grim horror and came out bloodied but victorious. The feast is paused, but the canticle in Ella's pack is waiting to whisper again. I'll hold the curtain here until you're ready for episode 2, and when you are, we'll dive right back in with all the gore, dread, and mystery simmering where we left off. Until then, rest easy, hunters. The worms will wait.
Okay, that's gonna do it for tonight. Hope everyone enjoyed it. If you still stick around this long, please, please, please like and subscribe. Subscribe so you'll know whenever we go live because we don't know sometimes until an hour or two before we're supposed to start whether we're playing still or not. So if you subscribe, you'll be up to date. And if you do a like, that'll help us know you want more content like this. So hope everyone has a great evening. Talk to you later. Bye.